Welcome back to We're Here and We Matter, the podcast that actually talks about women with bleeding disorders.
Because we're here
and we matter.
Before we start, can I share something?
OMG, duh!
I got too nervous to call Leo, but last night I sent him a voice memo telling him about my bleeding disorder and, okay, this is what he sent back.
This is cool. I looked up hemophilia and it says a bunch of royal people had it. Are you like a queen or something? I'm glad you told me. I want to know these things about my girl. Yeah, my girl. Will you be my girlfriend?
He said girlfriend!
Stop! Okay. Anyway, we're extra excited because today, for our final episode, we have on
the Shematologist.
Hi!
Hi, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Now, on socials, you're called the Shematologist, but could you introduce yourself to our listeners?
I'm Dr. Angela Wyand, and I'm a pediatric hematologist at the University of Michigan.
This season, we've talked about a bunch of different kinds of support, but we haven't talked about community support. What does that look like?
I think community support can look like a lot of different things. I think it's super important. I think that for so many girls with bleeding disorders, feeling like you're being heard or feeling like there are other people out there that are like you can be so helpful.
Yes, finding my community has meant the world to me.
Online, you talk a lot about giving out iron. What does that mean?
I personally think that we should be screening everybody who has periods for iron deficiency and treating them, because a lot of those symptoms can be chalked up to other things. You can say, like, my life is really hard. I should be tired. But if there's something we can do that's easy, which is just giving you a vitamin that can make you feel better, we should do that.
Definitely adding getting screened for iron to our worksheet we've been making.
And what does an iron deficiency look like?
Iron deficiency can cause a lot of different symptoms like fatigue, feeling really tired, feeling cold all the time, having headaches or feeling lightheaded. It can cause sleep problems. It can make us feel sad or anxious. And I think it's not really recognized as frequently as it should be.
It feels like more people should know about this. What else do you wish more people knew?
I wish that people knew that almost everything that we know in medicine is based on boys and men, and that a lot of that doesn't apply to girls and women. And so it's important for us to really listen to our patients and really think about what's happening with them and how it might be different from what we've learned in medical school. You know, thinking about things in that light of how could this be different from what we've been taught, and what things could we be forgetting or not thinking about, just based on the fact that so much of our knowledge is based in a whole different population of people.
What's something people can do to help change this way of thinking?
I think the more that people talk about things, the better. I think there are a lot of things about being a girl or a young woman that people don't talk about. Periods probably being the biggest one, right? We kind of think of periods, people think of them as being gross or dirty or things we don't talk about, but it's a normal thing that happens to over half the population. And so it should be something that we normalize talking about. And only by talking about it can people realize when things maybe aren't right, or it's not, maybe you're bleeding too heavily, but if you never talk about that with people who aren't bleeding heavily, you may not ever realize that.
It can be awkward to talk about. And honestly, when we started this podcast, I wasn't comfortable talking about things like at all. But now I'm not afraid to talk about anything.
The only way to kind of know what should be happening or what's happening to other people is by talking to people and kind of normalizing those things and making people feel more comfortable, I think will only result in better care for everyone.
That's the goal. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks so much for having me on your show.
Obsessed with her.
Obsessed with us. This has been so fun.
Yeah, and thanks to our amazing guests this season, we've been able to create a handy worksheet that you can take to your doctors. It has a bunch of different things to fill out all in one place.
And it's super cute!
I've learned a lot about myself and about women with hemophilia. I mean, never when we started this would I have thought I would tell so many people about my diagnosis. I was super shy about it, and now I'm like, this is getting shouted from the rooftops.
Because we're here
and we matter. And you matter too, listener. Whether you have hemophilia yourself, are trying to get diagnosed, are friends with someone who has hemophilia, or are dating someone with hemophilia, you matter. Your voice matters.